called to order. Will the clerk call the roll?
Nancy?
Yes.
Jeff?
Here.
Kurt?
Here.
Cindy?
Excused.
Bob?
Excused.
Jay?
Here.
Eric?
Here.
Thank you.
All right, we'll rise for the voluntary pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First order of business is approving the minutes from 7/31, 8/7, 8/21, and September 5th. I would entertain a motion to approve all those in bulk.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Member Michi, seconded by Member Castro. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approved. Amendment and approval of meeting agenda. I'm going to entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved by Member Strand and seconded by Member Michi. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And approved. Public hearings. There are none. There are also no bid awards. Moving on to visitors' views related to the agenda. Looking pretty sparse in here, so seeing none. Visitors' views unrelated to the agenda. Seeing none. Board, commission, and committee reports. None there also. Consent agenda, there is none. Report of other officers, there is none. Which brings us to the mayor's report. The Historic Preservation Commission. The borough is seeking letters of interest for 3 vacant seats on the Historic Preservation Commission. Seat 1 is reserved for an archaeologist or at-large member, and the term of this seat ends 12/31/2017. Seat 2 is reserved for an assembly member with a term ending 12/31/2019. Seat 3 is reserved for a planning commissioner with a term ending 12/31/18. Letters of interest may be submitted to the borough clerk by email at dthompson@petersburgak.gov, by mail to P.O. Box 329, Petersburg, Alaska 99833, or dropped off at the Borough Administration Office at 12 South Nordic Drive. North End Ferry Authority. Steve Bellegarde contacted the borough in July to introduce himself as the newest member of the 3-person ferry board for the North End Ferry Authority. The board is inviting the borough to appoint a local qualified business person to the North End Ferry Authority Board of Directors. Their current plan is to sell the existing ferry and acquire a smaller passenger vessel that is newer, faster, and people-friendly. They're looking at a new 40-foot, 36-passenger vessel with 3 400-horsepower diesel jet drives. Cruise is 30-plus miles per hour at 27-gallon-per-hour burn rate. Their current ferry takes $1,800 a day for captain and deckhand plus fuel. This vessel will be around $500 per day to go from Kaufman to Wrangell to Petersburg and return the same route. Any interested business person can submit a letter of interest to the borough clerk as outlined above. The municipal election. Election day is October 3rd, 2017. Write-in candidates. The window to file as a candidate and have your name printed on this year's ballot has closed. However, qualified borough residents may file with the borough clerk a letter of intent to run as a write-in candidate for any open seat other than mayor or assembly member. Letters of intent forms are available from the clerk's office at 12 South Nordic Drive and must be filed by 5 p.m. September 29th, 2017. Absentee voting will be available beginning Wednesday, September 13th, 2017 in the conference room at the municipal building, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and will end Monday, October 2nd, 2017 at noon. So if you're so inclined to vote before Election Day, please come on up and do so. The public is invited to attend a welcome reception hosted by the Sons of Norway Board of Directors for Norwegian Ambassador Corey Oos. At the reception, Ambassador Oos will give a presentation titled Norway's Priorities in the Arctic. The reception will be held on Saturday, September 30th, 2017 at 2 p.m. at the Sons of Norway Hall. Any questions on the mayor's report? Hearing none. Over to you, Steve, for the manager's report.
Thank you, sir. The fall schedule at Parks and Rec started on the 3rd of September, and it brings a new open swim on Sundays from 1 to 3. We're also no longer closed from 1 to 3 on Monday through Friday. Parks and Rec Basketball League starts on 9/16 for the 2nd through the 6th grades, and 9/18 for kindergarten and 1st grades. Pool will be closed to the public for the high school swim meet weekend, September 29th and the 30th. Parks and Rec is trying to establish a Friends of Parks and Rec nonprofit group. We're looking for people who are interested in starting this group. The interest this group to help achieve grants or monies that are not accessible to municipalities and to help shape the future of the Parks and Rec Department. Please speak to Chandra at the Parks and Rec Department if you have any questions. We have a request for proposal out for the lighting of the community center. This is for the aquatic center, we're waiting for proposals that are due by the 5th of October by 5 p.m. and hoping to get some interest in that so we can get those lights replaced. Officers Tate and Wachter are at the Fairbanks Academy and are still representing Petersburg very well. Gone through their pepper spray test as well as many other things, and I think one of them is still in the running for valedictorian. Is that a true statement, Kelly?
As far as I know, they're both still doing very well.
Thank you. The police department hosted a sexual assault response team meeting the week of September 11th. The team is made up of medical providers, advocates, and law enforcement. Sandy met with Rick Dormer to discuss emergency response at the school and potential future courses the fire department may be offered to high school students. The junior firefighter program has started. Sign-ups were held on September 11th. There were several returning students and a few new applicants. The first class is scheduled for September 18th. Junior firefighters is for high school students ages 15 to 19. We are Sandy's help working on trying to get course approval for emergency trauma technician course. Sandy hopes to offer the course in mid to late October. Power and Light, the 350 generator project began on August 29th to remove the existing old generator and install a new backup. They also used the opportunity to clear trees and branches over the substation, and I believe that project is going fine at the moment. You may have noticed the diesel generators are off. They were run from about September 6th through the 16th, and thanks to the assembly, Jody and Power and Light for all of their work, but there will be no diesel surcharge due to the SEPA rebate coming in, so we continue to be able to offer that this year. As of September 25th, Power and Light will temporarily relocate to Public Works Building while renovations are underway on their building. Recently, the Borough was contacted by the Regulatory Commission of Alaska in regard to the Certificate of Necessity and Convenience that was held by the Thomas Bay Power Authority for operation of the Tyee Lake Hydro. As Thomas Bay was effectively dissolved by Petersburg and Wrangell a few years ago, an application has collectively been submitted by SEPA for Petersburg and Wrangell for consideration of discontinuance of the unneeded certificate. It's a housekeeping issue and does not currently affect the operation of Tyee Hydro project by SEPA. The 16-building roof and siding project over the generator shed is 98% complete. Rainforest Contracting has done an excellent job and is waiting on some flashing to finish the work. The PFI switch project has been split into dirt work and electrical phases. The dirt work contract has been advertised for bids and will be opened on October 2nd. The electrical work will be accomplished through a professional services contract with EPS of Juneau, which is currently being negotiated. In the harbor, staff is busy with maintenance on the finger floats in the South Harbor and rebuilding hinges and adding flotation in those areas. Also Also, they're working on finalizing the Harbor Conference details. So far, we have approximately 75 attendees, and hotels and bed and breakfasts are filling up. Another reminder to the community, this is scheduled for October 2nd through the 6th here in Petersburg. Up at the Manor, our licensing review is complete. Got an A+ grade on it. They did a great job. We have a fire panel replacement project. The last of the materials have arrived. Nordic Electric is installing them, and Simplex will be here this week to program, inspect, and test the new system and sign us off. Ken's painting has completed this season's painting of the assisted living, and it looks really good, thanks to him. And a big thank you to Dr. Lister and his Boy Scout troop for halibut fishing for assisted living, and the donation of the fish. It was much appreciated. Jody wanted me to remind folks, property taxes are due on October 2nd by 5 p.m. A 10% penalty applies to all unpaid taxes. Please be aware customers may have long wait times in person and on the phone if you wait until the end of the month to pay, because we've also got absentee ballot occurring in the office at this time. Scrap metal and junk car roundup is going well. First week saw 56,000 pounds of metal in cars. The total at the end of the week was over 140,000 pounds. Public Works will help to push back and stack the metal pile as deliveries continue. We don't have a definitive word yet on when Waste Management will make their trip to come and pick it up. Water staff recently patched some concrete joints on the face of the spillway at the Cabin Creek Dam, and Water also began their sampling regimen for our new water supply, raw water sources as required by EPA surface water treatment rules. We did have an EPA inspector at the wastewater treatment plant. Inspection went well with no initial issues noted by the inspector, and wastewater staff have once again successfully passed their annual quality assurance testing in the laboratory. ComDev, Community Development, and the building official have moved into this building. Offices are on the first and second floor, with the building official here on the second floor and Liz and Molly downstairs. Staff phone numbers and emails have been loaded to the Borough website. The next P&Z meeting is scheduled for September 19th at 4:30 p.m. in the Assembly Chambers. And Liz met with Lita Irvine of the Small Business Administration. She provided an overview of the various SBA products available for small business financing. Anyone interested in more information about SBA programs can contact Liz and PEDC. And that's it, unless there's questions.
No? Thank you, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to unfinished business, item 17-229, Petersburg Navigation Improvement Project. Harbor Master Wallen is seeking approval from the Assembly for Manager Giesbrecht to sign the Petersburg Navigation Improvements Feasibility Study Agreement, which will be funded with a 50-50 match from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Funding for the borough's 50% of the project was approved in Ordinance 2016-09 on August 1st, 2016. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. It's been moved by Member Castro and seconded by Member Meucci, too.
So this was, we approved this in October of 2016?
Correct.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Eric.
Well, I'm reading in one of these reports in here, and they were talking about how this would become a federally maintained harbor. Would there be any? Would that give us fewer choices about how to use our infrastructure in the future, or do you see any downside to having that happen?
No, it wouldn't. They actually, what they're on the hook for is the basin. So much like the North Harbor, when there's funding available, kind of when we would make the cycle, then they could come back in, and on their dime, redredge like they did the North Harbor. They really were wonderful to work with when we did the North Harbor. They actually held off for over a year, and let us get our act together to get a new harbor so we could combine the two projects. So that's the extent of their involvement. Wouldn't be providing a new harbor. It would be providing the basin to put in a new harbor.
Cool. All right, thank you.
Any other discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Nancy,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you.
And it passes unanimously. New business, item 17-228, sole source purchase of image-trained electronic fire and emergency medical services reporting software. Fire and EMS Director Dixon is seeking approval to make a sole source purchase of electronic fire and EMS reporting software from ImageTrend. Purchase of the software will allow fire and EMS to meet state and federal mandatory reporting requirements. Software is compatible with the Spillman dispatch system utilized by the police department and with Omni EMS billing, which is used to bill insurance companies and private pay customers for EMS services received. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Member Castro and seconded by Member Strand. Any discussion?
I have one question. So Sandy, is this going to be in addition to Spillman? I mean, to make it easier to use?
Yes, Spillman right now just tracks the information call that comes in and times, excuse me, and it will integrate into the system. So we're required, EMS is required to report to the state all of our runs information, and then we submit it to the billing company as well. And this will allow us to do electronic patient care reports, which will be a huge time saver for me and will be more accurate reporting for the patient care report as well.
Okay, thank you.
Sandy, I saw you selected option 2, or you recommended that one, and this is for the 3 years. What happens after the 3-year contract expires?
Well, both options are for 3 years because that's what you have to purchase it, and then you had to guarantee 2 additional years. And so the total price stays the same whether you go with option 1 or option 2. I opted for option 2 because of funding. I can squeak it out of my budget this year and then include it in the budget for the next 2 years. After that, then we would revisit whether we continue with this program or not.
Okay, so this would be kind of a trial period.
So to speak, yes.
It sounds like a pretty robust and powerful software suite, though, and
Yeah.
it's anything to be able to save time on the reporting end is...
In the long run, it's going to save, it'll probably get back my time alone with just this, but it'll also save Ryan's time.
Wow, excellent.
No discussion. Any other discussion? Sandy had a question for you.
Yep.
So how do we currently report it?
Paper. So I fill out a form and I have to go through each of our run sheets and identify the reporting points that they need, and I submit them to Southeast Region EMS. We then put them in electronic format and submit them to the state. Ryan currently uses an Alaskan incident reporting system for fire, but this will allow him to report directly. So there's lots of room for error. It's not mandatory that we submit electronically at this point, but it's coming.
Roger. It strikes me as somewhat of an unfunded mandate by the state saying, you need to do this, but you go find a way to pay for it.
Exactly. And that is what I get run into every single year, and I keep waiting for the letter saying we're not going to certify you anymore unless you do this. Hasn't happened yet, but it's coming.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? Clerk, call the roll.
Jay,
No.
Eric,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Kurt.
Yes.
And it passes 4-1. Let's see. Communications. Debbie, question for you. I didn't put this on the agenda, but I was going to report back a little bit on the hospital meeting. Can I do it now, or
Yes.
should I do that? Is this a fair place to do it?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, cool. Just for those listening, I attended the work session with the hospital as the liaison from the assembly. Not a whole lot to report, except that it was a good first step in developing that relationship with the hospital. I look forward to being a part of that more in the future, and I'm glad Member Lynn is involved also. I would tie in one request with that, too. I would really like to encourage members of the public to join the hospital board. Please be write-in candidates and do it. The hospital is a critical piece of our borough infrastructure, and it's also, in my humble opinion, one of the most challenging issues we face as a community moving forward. And having good, thoughtful, reasonable people working towards solutions on that, I can't stress enough how important I think that is. And right now, that's a board that's not full. And so please, if you're so inclined to want to be a part of the largest decisions coming up in the community, by all means, get involved. I strongly encourage. Any other discussion items or communications from anybody? Recognitions? Yes.
I'd like to recognize the fire department's junior firefighter program, which I believe is beginning today, the first day.
Yes.
Hopefully it will generate interest in continuation as a firefighter EMT. Anyway, good work.
Absolutely. Anybody else? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
So moved.
Fans? Seconded by Member Wolfhooter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.